All right, so I know for sure that I have seen Mrs. Lakshmi Rao. Yes, there you are. All right, Academic Director, Jain Group of Institutions, ma'am. Please join us on the stage. Let's give a round of applause to Mrs. Lakshmi Rao, who was a key person in creating that approach called Pearl at Jain Group of Institutions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, one and all present here. First of all, I would like to thank ELT for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences and then my ideas on education. So when I was choosing this topic, training the trainer, I was hesitant to take which perspective I have to take. That was the dilemma that I had. I thought, okay, let me just bring in the future classrooms, or should I go back to the roots, and then should I understand why should we have the training? Then I thought that, yes, a lot has been deliberated about higher education curriculum, where the shifts have to be there, lot of changes have to be there in higher education curriculum and examination system, as well as the policies. All the time we were deliberating, discussing, and debating on higher education, but I felt that why are we not talking about the elementary education? Because I feel that the slogan of, catch them young has to be totally focused on. Why I say catch them young is, the elementary teachers are impacting the children at formative stages and where original learning happens. All of us know, as educators, the original learning takes place between 0 to 7 years, and if the skills are not being imparted at that particular age, obviously, there will not be a proper learning in the later stages. And if the skill-based education is being focused on at the primary education and primary level, obviously, the industries need not have to invest huge amounts on human development and then the huge time on the training programs at the industrial level. What is the exact requirement at 21st century skill, 21st century? Before I talk about it, yeah, I have already spoken this about what, why. I want to give you the facts. All of us know that 90% of the students who are passing out of the education institutions, they are not adding any value to their learning at all. And this is a very alarming state, but this is a fact that all of us have to accept it. Actually, 12.1% or 12.1 million primary teachers are required to really have a quality education at primary level. And if we have to add 5.1 million teachers who are going to quit this profession by 2015, it would be almost 17 million teachers are required. So all of us have to understand that there is a dearth of teachers. Why there is a dearth of teachers is the teachers are not getting motivated at all for whatsoever reason it may be. And people do not want to take up teaching as a profession for whatsoever reason it may be. And that's when we thought that there is no other choice with us other than investing on the human resources. Unless and until we focus on the training of these trainers. I call the trainers, the teachers, as the trainers because they have to really impact the lives of the children. Unless and until we train the teachers, we will not be able to really increase the employability in the, India or any other country for that matter at all. So if you focus on training the elementary teachers, then automatically the employability increases, the skill development will be there, and in turn, productivity also will be increasing. Coming to the next point, I just want to talk to you why teachers require training. Of course, all of us know everybody is talking about quality education and all. There is a huge gap between the teacher and the taught. I'll just give you one example. This example I'm taking from Jain International Residential School, our global campus in Bangalore. I think 2 years ago, there was an international tour that was conducted by Jain International Residential School. They planned to go to Singapore, and every arrangement has been made. And there were about 3-4 teachers who were escorting them, and they have taken the children over there. The 4th day, I think, there was a program where there is a visit to the school, and one child, he said that, no ma'am, I'm not interested in visiting that particular school. Please allow me to go and meet so-and-so person. And the escort teacher, she felt so agonized, she felt so angry, she got so angry, and she said that, no, you cannot go at all. Then he said that, why cannot I go? Then she said that, no, it is a school visit, you have to learn a lot. Then at that point of time, the student said that, no, ma'am, I have to sign an agreement. I have to sign an MOU with one, hotel person, okay, who's ready to invest in the hotel industry. And he has taken business studies. He's in A level. And he said that, see, I want to sign an agreement with him now. And this I have planned long ago. And unless and until I meet him today, I won't be able to sign that agreement at all. And after I complete my 12th standard, I have to start a hotel over there in Singapore. And she was really aghast. She said it was beyond her, imagination that an A-level student thinking about setting up an, hotel soon after he completes the 12th grade and signing an agreement with one of the investors over there. And why am I sharing this is that is the huge gap that already has happened. The children are so open to learning. The children are exposed to so much of knowledge. And of course, all of us know that we are in the knowledge era. They are not coming to schools at all just to get the knowledge. They are coming here only to network. They are coming here only to improve their skills. But if we are not able to give the solutions to what they require, then there is no point in they coming to school, and there is no point in we, in fact, running the institutions at all. And that is the huge gap that we really have to, bridge it. Otherwise, I'm sorry that all the schools will have to be closed after some time. And of course, capacity building of the teachers is very, very essential. And to update the teachers of the changing trends of education, this is more important to all of us because the teachers, sorry for the whole teaching fraternity over here. I was also a teacher for more than 18 years. But what happens is most of us, cease to learn once we become the teacher. Once we are into the classroom, we think that, yes, that's enough. I have learned enough of it, and the people are there to learn right in front of me. Let me keep teaching. This is how the things are going on, and that's the reason why they stop learning. And the last aspect of it that I would like to focus on is moving ahead of time and prepare the future citizens. As I told you, the best example that I have shared with you is the teacher was not able to really digest the fact that the child is able to already connect with somebody, an investor in Singapore, by being in Bangalore, and he had already set up a meeting time with another investor, and this lady is not able to really think of it at all. As one of the speakers very well said that, we do not have solutions for 65% of the future generation. So then, when we do not know what is the requirement of the future generation, and if we are not totally prepared to do and give solutions to, for their problems, I don't think that we will be able to really survive in the field of education at all. Next, coming back to the reasons for this particular situation is, all of us know, there is a lack of structured training programs and lack of research on changing trends of education, lack of knowledge on requirements for future generation, and most importantly, the negative attitude towards unlearning. As I told you, we cease to learn. And why is this happening is, most of the economically backward countries, they started expanding the education system so rapidly for the past a decade they fail to create the structured professional courses, because of which the teachers are not having proper subject knowledge. They are not able to understand the requirements of the students at all. These two components are making them lose the confidence in front of the children, and they are making them lose the self-esteem. Because of these two reasons, why they are not able to really understand the requirements of the children. When they don't understand the requirement of the children, what will happen? They will not be able to break the curriculum into the, as per the levels of learning of the children. That is the major reason why the elementary education, I feel that has to be totally focused on, and then the training has to happen more over there, so that when original learning is happening, all the skills which are required can be developed. That is the reason when I would like to talk about my Pearl curriculum. When we talk about Pearl curriculum, we focus more on the gross motor skills and not the writing. The first and the foremost thing in 2008, when we thought of starting the Pearl curriculum, I said that we should not have any textbook. Let us not follow any prescribed textbook at all. Why should we go for Oxford publications or Holy Faith publications or whatsoever may be? Why should we do it? So let us create our own curriculum, and let us understand what exactly is the requirement of the child at that particular age. When the child is coming to us at the age of 1.5 years, the child need not have to learn how to write. The child has to develop the gross. If the gross motor skills at that particular level, age is not being developed, then the fine motor skills can never be developed. And fine motor skills, if they are not developed, they will be reflecting on the performance of the academic performance of the child at the later stage. Keeping that in view, we started developing the curriculum. So coming back to this particular aspect of teacher training, I feel that what exactly is required in 21st century is the teachers who can think ahead of times and give solutions to the future problems of the young learners. And we also have to develop the industrial skills and the soft skills of the students, because all of us were talking, all the people from the higher education, they were talking about employability. Everybody was talking about industrial skills. And most of the students are failing miserably after certain, after graduation, that all of us know about it. And unless and until we accept the changing trends of education, we won't be able to percolate down all our knowledge to them at all. Then what exactly we are supposed to do? There should be a paradigm shift in the teaching learning process. Pedagogy should be replaced by heutagogy. Pedagogy model is like, first content will be there. First there will be content, and then, next. Can I just have the next one? No. Yeah. In pedagogy model, there will be content which has been created by somebody, and then it will be interpreted and learned as per the ability and knowledge of the teacher, and then it gets percolated down. That's how the child doesn't get the direct information, right? In heutagogy model, the content is being placed in front of the child as well as the teacher, and the teacher and the taught, both of them will explore the content together, and the teacher with her experience as well as the subject knowledge, she will be interpreting the content in her own way, and the child with his exposure and with his perception and perspective, he will be interpreting the content in his own way. So this will really create a lot of onus rather, and it will create and improve the skill development among the teacher as well as the taught, and obviously it has its own advantages. What will happen is there is an onus of learning. The teacher also will have to learn, and the child also has to learn. At the same time, the skills are developed, and then increased learning outcomes. Obviously, when the child is also involved in it, there will be an increased outcomes. So now, National Council for Accreditation of Teacher Education, They said that, yes, okay, we need to have a training program for the teachers. Everything is required. Fine, but what to do? And what are the topics that we need to really teach? So most of the time, the schools are engaging themselves. They are devising the programs. But at the same time, what would happen is, it's like, again, one size fits all. So they would be just conducting the orientation programs and then conducting the training programs on certain topics, and then rest of the topics are totally neglected. But basically, these are the challenges that we have in front of them when we have to design and devise the training program for the adults. Because devising programs for the adults is very, very Herculean task, because all of us know unlearning is the most, difficult task for all of us. So now, the first and the foremost thing is how to teach, right? How to teach is not just that, pedagogy. I'm not just talking about the strategies that we are supposed to use. We need to really understand that the teacher must be able to conduct the need analysis, and then the teacher must be able to understand the requirements of the learner, and the teacher must be able to differentiate in the classroom while delivering the content. The teacher must be able to understand assessment for learning and assessment of learning, whether assessment of process is done, or whether how to assess the product, how to assess the process, how to assess the content. These details, if the teacher has in mind while designing the lesson, then the teacher will be able to really reach out the requirements of the children. And of course, what to teach again. The teachers have to really understand that they need to collaborate and teach. They have to really use that interdisciplinary subjects they should be able to teach. Or not only that, if they are teaching in India, they need not have to just stop their content level only pertaining to India. Suppose they are teaching about currency. Most of the time it happens that they talk only about Indian currency, and at the most, very little more enthusiastic teacher may go a little further, and then she may talk about various currencies, but she never teaches that conversion rates and all. So that can be taught through activities. That can be taught through experiential learning. So if that has been taught to the children, the child will be able to really learn a lot. And this aspect of what to teach also has to be focused on while we are devising the training programs for the teachers. And how to learn, of course, as I told you, because that is the toughest job for all of us to learn at later stages of our life. So how to learn is also to be totally focused on while training the teachers. And next one is the classroom management, and none of the teachers would be able to really, handle the disruptive behavior, especially at the primary level. And this I'm talking about, teachers who just begin their career. They do not know, because they do not know how to handle the disruptive behavior. They keep using the words like hyperactive children, dyslexic children, dysgraphic children, even without even understanding the implications of those particular words, and what kind of a scar it's going to be created in the mind of the child. They keep talking about it just because they overhear these words like dyslexia, dysgraphia and all. Just if the child is slightly slow in performing also, they would be branding the child that way, and that will really create a scar in the mind of the child. So the classroom management is very, very important factor in any school education, that unless and until we train the teachers, the teacher will not be able to really understand how to handle the situation over there. And the next part of it, of course, how to advocate for teachers. See, most of the teachers, they forget that, that they have to take care of the behavior of the child also, and they have to think about the reasons for that particular behavior of that particular child. They would be thinking, they only brand the children based on the performance, and they would be saying that, this child did not do well, he's an average child, maybe he's too lazy to do it. I heard the word lazy, yeah. See, they just brand the children saying that he's lazy to do it, but they never get into the roots. Why is he not performing well? What is the reason for his, low performance? Is there any reason? So this kind of diagnosis has to be made. And they have to understand that children will come with certain life problems also. There may be a disturbance at home. There may be a disturbance between his parents, and that is really he's carrying it to the school, and because of which his performance level has come down. And this, they have to really understand, the teacher has to understand that she has to give unconditional love and unconditional support to the child. So unless and until we focus on that as management, the teachers will not be able to really focus on this aspect of it at all. And then advocating for themselves. This is another problem that most of the teachers, fail. They lack this skill of advocating for themselves. They may have certain problems, but they keep themselves quiet. They keep silent. For most of the time, they never even open up, and they never even come out in front of the principal. Forget about the top management. They don't even come to the principal to discuss the problems. So if they are so hesitant, how can they really train the children to be outspoken? How can they make the children express their ideas very openly? So this aspect also we need to really focus on while training the teachers. And how to engage the parents in learning process. This is very, very important, because most of the time, the parents as well as the teachers, they always consider each other as the rivals. They think that, yes, they keep playing the blame game. Oh, because of you, my child has not learned anything. And then the teacher would say that, ma'am, every time I do this, but all the time the parent is expecting too much from me. That is the reason I don't want to face that parent. So how do we, engage the parents in the learning process? You need to really win the hearts of the parents, and you need to win the confidence of the parent, and then build a rapport between you and the parent, so that the parent also will be supporting you as a school, as a teacher, to develop the child. Because if the child has to be on the top of the pyramid of learning, then one side the teacher has to be there, another side the parent has to be there, then only the child will be able to climb up the ladder and then be on the top of the pyramid. So this aspect of it, if we focus, then I think child also will be benefited much better than anyone rather. Then, of course, we need to really teach them how to inspire and motivate the learners. See, when I say motivate, they themselves have to get motivated first. They should never feel that teaching is a very, low, profession. Most of them, just because in certain countries they are paid very well, but in certain countries they are paid less. And keeping that in view, most of them feel that, oh, why did I take this profession? And then most of them rather take this as a last choice. And as a last resort, when they take up this particular profession, when it is not the first preference, obviously they have a very low esteem. When we don't like the job, then we will never have the high motivation levels at all. If we don't have the high motivation level, we can't percolate down the motivation levels among the children at all. So we need to really motivate the teachers through our own programs. We have, through award system, we can motivate the teachers, saying that, oh, it is a noble profession. You don't think that, money is be all and end all. So there are various methods that we can really, introduce in order to, motivate the teachers. Then finally, I would like to bring in the last concluding points over here. A successful teacher of 21st century knows how, what, when, and why of teaching. Here I would like to, I remember, rather, the poem of Rudyard Kipling from If. I keep 6 honest serving men. They taught me all I knew. Their names are what and when and where and how, where and when and how and who. I send them east and west. I keep them over land and sea. So anything that you do, whether it is training, whether it is teaching, whether it is doing a business or whatever it may be, if these 6 questions are being answered by ourselves, then obviously we will become successful. And this is required. And as some of them were mentioning that nowadays, the technique of questioning is being lost. Yeah. Because they don't have the habit of preparing the question papers. We have a question bank ready. So they do not know the difference between convergent questions and divergent questions. That is the reason why the teachers would be struggling to create a question bank as well. So they should be cutting-edge thinker and learner. So they should know, right, after 25 years or after 15 years, my child, the student is going to the open world, then what kind of a problem that he may face and what kind of a solution we can give it to him. So keeping that in view, if we are devising and designing our activities and then planning the lesson, then the child will be able to really face the world very, very boldly. And of course, the teacher should be a lifelong learner. And he should be an instructional designer, and this designer word was never used earlier in terms of teaching. As I told you, designing the lesson is a very, very great skill among the teachers, which has to be developed based on the requirements of the children and keeping the learning styles in mind. And finally, he should be an activist and child advocate that I have already spoken to you, and the motivational thinker. I have certain methods of training that I would like to share it with you towards the end of this speech. Yeah. Of course, all of us know about these methods of teaching. I'm not talking about the instructor-led one. I'm talking about the self-paced one because that is the in thing today. And then flipped and blended classrooms also we have discussed yesterday. And then personalized through Skype also we have discussed yesterday. And then self-directed and self-efficacy models also we can introduce. And online training and CD-ROMs. So this one, when I'm talking in terms of training the teachers. So the teachers who can, learn on their own, we can make use of these self-directed and then self-paced programs for them. Whereas if we understand that the teachers need that instructor-led programs, then obviously we will be able to use the other ones like workshops and one-on-one and all. Here, what I would like to share my best practice over here. We have the self-appraisal forms where I ask my teachers to assess their performance and assess their needs. And they have to get back to me at the end of the term that this particular topic I require for a better understanding of mine so that I will be able to present it well in front of the children. So it can be a classroom management, it can be a teaching methodology, or it can be anything that the teacher wants. So we never give them topics, we ask them. You say that, come on, whichever topic that you want, you please come up with that particular topic, we will train you. And I have more than 200 teachers in Hyderabad, but even in spite of that, what we do is, even if one teacher asks for one specific topic, we are ready to sit with that particular teacher and train. Because ultimately, it is we who's supposed to, invest on their, growth and the development. And unless and until we focus on their growth and development, the schools will never be able to really grow at all. Finally, I would like to give the last model, my personal model that I would like to give. Can I have the next thing? The model of training that I'm planning over here, and then which we have already, implemented. Here, the learner for me is the teacher, right? And I was talking to you about this. I have to understand the requirements of my teacher, that is learner, and I need to create a learning environment. As a management, I need to create a learning environment, because when I say learning environment, it is not just the opportunity that I give. I have to give them the work culture. Proper work culture I should give. Proper freedom that I should give them. Unless and until they have that kind of a freedom to express, freedom to implement whatever they would like to do, they won't be able to really enjoy that. So that is the learning environment that I'm talking about. And then when it comes to the learning experience, again, every teacher should be recognized. When the teacher has been recognized, and if the requirements of the teachers are really addressed immediately, then she or he will have a very excellent learning experience in the school, so that this learning experience would be percolated down among the children. So obviously the last one, in the last quadrant, I want them to reflect on their practices, reflect on their learning, and then ultimately they have to practice through, teaching, and they can use any kind of methodology. It's, whether it is a flipped classrooms, or whether it is a blended, education, or whether it is peer group learning, or share and pair, whatever may be the, pedagogical strategies that they use. Ultimately, all the children should be happy, and all the teachers should be happy in reaching out the children. And thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to share my views.
Ma'am, sorry, I would like to call you back onto the stage. Yes. I would request Mr. Raghav Mittal to kindly give away the memento. Mrs. Lakshmi Rao, Academic Director, Jain Group of Institutions. Thank you very much. Thank you.